Welcome to the Explainer. Sometimes the biggest threats are hiding right under our noses, or, in this case, in our lawns. Today we're tackling a common weed that's way more than just an ugly patch of grass. It's a genuine menace. And stick with us because we're going to lay out the complete battle plan to take back your yard for good.
All right, let's jump right in with a really important question. Have you ever seen something like this popping up in your yard? I mean, really take a look. Because being able to spot this specific plant, well, that's the absolute first step to keeping your lawn and, even more importantly, your pets safe.
Okay, so first things first, we've got to identify the threat, right? You can't fight an enemy you don't know, so let's get a crystal clear picture of what we're looking for.
So this isn't just some random weed that makes your lawn look a bit messy. The sources are really clear on this. They call it an aggressive, invasive grass. And those two words, aggressive and invasive, they tell you everything. This thing actively fights your good grass for water and nutrients, and believe me, it poses a very, very real threat.
The good news is, once you know the signs, it's actually pretty easy to spot. The biggest giveaway? That distinctive seed head. It honestly looks just like a little bottle brush, or, well, a fox's tail. You'll see it growing in these rough, clumpy patches, and its leaves are coarse and flat. It looks different from the rest of your lawn. And wow, when you see it side by side like this, the difference is just night and day, isn't it? On one side, you've got that clumpy, uneven, rough-looking foxtail, and on the other, that smooth, dense green carpet of a healthy lawn. You can't unsee it once you know.
Okay, so we know what it looks like, but now we need to talk about why this is so much more than just an ugly weed. This is where things get serious, and you'll understand why it's so important to act fast.
Get this. Its ability to spread is just mind-boggling. A single one of these plants can drop thousands of seeds in a season. These seeds create what's called a seed bank in your soil, and they can just hang out there dormant for years. So you see, this isn't just a summer problem, it's a long-term invasion waiting to happen.
But honestly, the damage to your lawn, that's not even the worst part, not by a long shot. The absolute most serious concern here is the danger it poses to our pets. If there is one reason to get on top of this immediately, this is it. So how exactly is it dangerous? Well, remember those foxtail-shaped seed heads? They're covered in these tiny, sharp, barbed awns. Think of them like microscopic fishhooks, or even better, tiny little harpoons. That's a great way to put it. Because once they latch onto something, they are literally designed to never let go.
And because of those one-way barbs, these seeds only travel in one direction, forward, deeper. They can get lodged in your pet's paws, burrow into their ears, up their nose, even into their eyes, and they just keep migrating inward. Your pet can't lick them out, you can't groom them out, they just dig deeper. In many cases, the only way to get them out is with surgery. We're talking about a genuine medical emergency here.
Okay, that's pretty scary stuff. We've identified the enemy, we understand the danger, but here's the good news. You are not helpless. You can absolutely fight back, and now we're going to give you the complete battle plan to do it.
All right, if you've only got a few of these clumps, you can definitely handle it by hand. But the technique here is super important. First, water the area a bit. That softens up the soil and makes it way easier to pull out the whole plant, root and all. You have to get the root. And this last step is crucial. Throw it in the trash. Do not, I repeat, do not put it in your compost pile, or you'll just be planting a whole new crop of foxtails next year.
But look, if your yard is covered in it, pulling them one by one just isn't going to cut it. For a bigger invasion like that, the most effective route is going to be chemical control.
Think of your chemical strategy in two parts. You've got your defense and your offense. The defense is what we call a pre-emergent herbicide. You put that down in the early spring, and it creates this invisible barrier in the soil that stops the seeds from even starting to grow. Then you've got your offense, a post-emergent. That's for later in the season, to spot treat and kill any of the plants that somehow manage to pop up.
But here's the thing. Getting rid of the foxtail you can see right now, that's only half the battle. To win the war and keep it from coming back year after year, you need a long-term plan. It's all about building a strong defense.
So a really successful strategy is something you do all year round. It's a cycle. You start in early spring with that pre-emergent to prevent the seeds from sprouting. Then, in late spring and summer, you're on patrol, spot treating anything that pops up. As you head into fall, you're making sure to remove any last plants before they go to seed. And then the final piece, overseeding in the fall to build up a thick, healthy turf for next year. And that really brings us to the most important point. At the end of the day, your absolute best defense is just a really thick, healthy, happy lawn. When your turf is dense, there's literally no space, no light, no water for weeds like foxtail to get a foothold. This is where all that good lawn care, fertilizing, watering right, mowing at the right height, really pays off. And if we look at the big picture, this chart really drives it home. Check out where you get the most bang for your buck. Prevention and just general lawn health, that's the biggest slice of the pie. Yeah, treating the weeds you see is important, but being proactive in building a lawn that can defend itself, that's the real game changer.
All right, let's bring it all together and talk about the final, most important takeaway for reclaiming your lawn.
Look, there's no magic spray that's going to fix this overnight. Getting rid of foxtail for good is about a consistent, smart approach. It's a cycle, right? You maintain, you control, and you monitor. You combine all those things, and that is the winning formula.
So, is your yard ready for a future without foxtail? The power to make that happen is totally in your hands now. You know what to look for, you understand the very real dangers, and you have the step-by-step playbook to get rid of it. You've got the blueprint to create a yard that's not just beautiful, but safe for your whole family, especially the furry ones.